can you tell us any of your auction horror stories? Have you had, where have people gone wrong in this process, and how can our viewers learn from these mistakes?
You will, it's like anything, you often hear the horror stories over anything else, and the 100% will be horror stories, but it's really important to understand that these are avoidable issues. So every person I know who's made a mistake at auction is ultimately, it's because of their responsibility, not because the property's been, dodgy, for example.
Yeah, they bought a bad property, they've not done their homework about buying the property, perhaps.
So I'll give you a quick story. So one of my roles is I'll advise buyers on the auction process. You might be a first-time buyer and you've seen your dream home but you don't know how to do it, and I'll hold your hand through the process. Or you might be an investor and you're looking to build and grow a portfolio, so I'll help you with the investment model. So I had one chap came to see me, Mr. Malik he was called, and he came literally the day before an auction. He said, I've basically got £500,000 cash. He said, I've never bought a property, apart from the family home, I've never bought a property before. I've certainly never bought a property at auction before. I've inherited a little bit of money, I've sold my business, all combined I've got £500,000, and I'd like to get into property investment. So I said, great, fantastic, you come to the right place, and it just so happens we've got an auction tomorrow. So I always say do a dummy run. I always say come along, because you don't know what to expect in just the room itself. It can be packed, it can be intimidating, it can be scary sometimes. So I said, come along to the auction, sit at the back. Obviously, you're not going to be bidding on anything because you've not even looked at the catalogue, you've not done any homework. You can see where I'm coming.
Can see where this is going.
I said, and then after the auction, me and you will sit down and we'll be ready for when the next catalogue comes out, and that's when we'll do something. So the next day it's the auction, and it's my busiest day. So obviously I'm pulled from pillar to post, loads of different people. He came over nice and early with his little son. I said hello to him, said hello to his son, showed him where the bar is, gave him a quick walk around, and said, I'll catch up with you later. So that was it, and everything happens in a bit of a blur at auction day because you're just constantly busy with people. And at the end of the day, they were just clearing up, and I looked over across the room and I saw Mr. Malik with a bidding paddle in his hand. I was thinking, what's he got one of them for? He don't need a bidding paddle, he's not bidding. So he came over and he looked a bit sheepish. I said, you're right. He said, I've been silly, Andy. I said, why, what's happened? He said, I've bought 5 proproperties.
Oh my God.
So I said, what do you mean you bought 5 properties? He said, I've bought 5 properties and I need to back out. So I said, well, you can't. And so to cut a long story short, he paid way over the odds. He hadn't looked at the catalogue, let alone the property or a legal pack. So he spent £50,000 in deposits, and he probably overspent by probably £20,000. Now that's a horror story.
Buy in haste, repent at leisure.
Exactly. And but it is 100% avoidable. That is just him.
Yeah.
No disrespect to him, being silly.
But it highlights probably something you see common in your field of work, and I know I would probably be a Mr. Malik if I came to the auction and I would go, I want that one, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So this is really, it's good to talk to you and hear about this, because I'm sure we've got lots of viewers as well who will be the same, and they'll get like a kid in a sweet shop when they get into the auction house. Exactly.
It's very easy to convince yourself, because ultimately you want to buy a property, you go in there because you want to. So in amongst the atmosphere and the rivalry and the competition, you're convincing yourself that it's, I'll go another 1,000, or I'll go another 1,000. So it's really important to set your maximum bidding price the day before. In your normal environment, it's a bit like if you go to the casino and you sat in front of that roulette machine and you're watching it spin round, and everything else goes out the window until that point, and then you leave and go, I should have cashed out when I had 100 quid or whatever it might have been. And it's the same principle in the room. You might say, right, my maximum bid is £100,000, and in the room you'll go, I'll go an extra 1,000, or her over there, she's bidding, so it must be a good one. He looks like an investor, he's keen, I'll go 102, 103, and then next minute you bought it for 110, you leave the room and you go, it doesn't work, I've overspent. So it's really important to stick, and it's so hard, but stick to your guns, and remember, there's always another auction, there's always another property. Always. It's a lot easier to buy at the next one than to try and get rid of something that you've bought by accident.
That's a great tip, I think, to end with there.
Important
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this video. If you like this content and you'd like to join our free online property training course, we've got a link for it on this page. And in there we cover a range of different property strategies to help you get started, either building a long-term property portfolio or creating a cash-flowing property business. We also look at ways to increase your return on investment with any of the properties you're maybe considering. And we also have a couple of cheat sheets and downloadable documents in there as well. Simply click on the link to join the free training course today.